Good evening, I'm David Muir.
I'm Amy Robach, and this is 2020.
Tonight, ABC's Juju Chang right here with a dramatic game changer in a case she's been covering for 9 years now.
This is Jordan Brown when he was still a typical fifth grader, quarterback of the Pee Wee football team, the Warriors, coached by his father, Chris, a single dad.
Jordan had always been the center of his father's universe. They were best friends. They did everything together.
Their hometown, Wampum, Pennsylvania, 40 miles north of Pittsburgh, a rural oasis for water lovers and off-roaders.
It's a heavily wooded area with a lot of small towns, a lot of hills, and it's very beautiful.
Jordan's childhood is filled with typical birthday parties, petting zoos, and pony rides, his dad closely by his side. Jordan's grin lighting up his elementary school photos year after year.
What was Jordan like? What kind of kid was he at 11?
He was your average 11-year-old kid, all-American child. You know, played sports, baseball, football, had friends.
This is Jordan Brown today, now 21, remembering that tender, precious time in his life, fondly.
What kind of childhood would you say you had up until 11?
Normal, I guess. I mean, I had friends always coming over. We used to always play and like games, like video games.
And back then, Chris was happy too, working in shipping at a local tableware factory, engaged to a woman he'd known since his teens, Kenzie Hauk, a hairstylist and stay-at-home mom, also a single parent, mother of 2 young girls, 7-year-old Janessa and 4-year-old Adeline.
What made you love her?
Who she was a person.
Kenzie was real feisty. She was funny. She always had a beautiful smile. Liked everybody, and she loved her children.
That's all she ever said when you say, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a mom. I want kids.
Kenzie and Chris and their kids had recently moved in together to this farmhouse. The new blended family seemed to be bonding. Jordan even called Kenzie Mom.
What was your relationship like with your soon-to-be stepmom?
It was strong. She was really nice. I liked her a lot.
She bent over backwards for him.
She had a good relationship with him.
And a new sibling was on the way. Chris and Kenzie were eagerly awaiting a baby together, a boy they had already named Christopher.
She was thrilled. That's what she wanted. I had had a shower. All the clothing was washed, diapers where they were supposed to be, and everything. Yeah, she was ready.
You were excited about the baby on the way?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, what father wouldn't be?
I was happy. I always wanted a little brother, and that's what, it was a boy, so that's what I was gonna get.
So you were excited about it?
Yeah, I was really excited.
It's a frigid February morning in 2009. Kenzie is 8.5 months pregnant. But their hopes for a future together as a family are about to be shattered.
I remember getting up that morning, running a little late for work. She'd asked me to stay home that day, and I didn't, and that's something that's haunted me.
What do you remember?
It was just a normal morning. My sister, Janessa, woke me up.
Kenzie is asleep in the downstairs bedroom. Jordan is in his bedroom upstairs. Once the baby arrived, they were going to swap bedrooms, so Jordan had already moved his clothes downstairs.
Went downstairs, got my clothes, went in the bathroom, got dressed, and we just sat on the couch in the living room waiting. And then Kenzie told us to go because the bus was coming and we were going to be late. So we hurry up, went out the back door and ran down the driveway. Went to school.
Around 8:15 a.m., Jordan and Janessa leave for school. 4-year-old Adeline is asleep upstairs. 9 a.m., tree trimmers arrive to work around the house. A short time later, a tree trimmer sees Adeline in the doorway, sobbing. She tells him her mother is dead. He calls 911.
And as we arrived on the scene and did our initial assessment, Kenzie was in a bedroom.
What was your impression?
At that point, we assumed that somehow she had hemorrhaged. We didn't touch her, we didn't move her. At that point, we're trying to maintain the integrity of the scene.
When did you realize you had a murder on your hands?
The coroner was taking photos and I was standing right at the edge of the doorway. And I remember the coroner saying, as he started to touch the body, we have a problem. And that's when we realized that it was a homicide.
26-year-old Kenzie had been shot in the back of the head, execution style. Police attempt CPR, but it's too late. Then police make the dreaded call to Chris, telling him to come home immediately.
They told me that her and the baby were gone, and I remember collapsing in the yard. I lost it.
Chris Brown is interviewed at the state police barracks.
You're voluntarily giving us a statement.
Yes.
You're not under arrest or free to... Okay.
Was Chris Brown a suspect?
Well, when you open an investigation, you have to leave everything open as far as who may be suspects.
Chris describes his final moments with Kenzie.
I gave her a kiss, told her I loved her, she kissed me back, and I left.
Chris had been at work at the factory, and his hands are clean of gunpowder residue, so he's quickly eliminated as a suspect. Meanwhile, police head to Mohawk Elementary School to speak with the children. Kenzie's daughter, Janessa, doesn't report anything out of the ordinary. Sounded like a typical morning for Jordan, too.
There were two troopers at the time. That know they were troopers, and they asked me the same thing you just did, like if anything unusual happened, and I just told them that, you know, it was just a normal morning.
But he does tell police he saw a black truck by the garage.
In the very first interview with police, you mentioned that you saw a vehicle in the driveway.
I didn't think anything of it, you know, it was just a truck. I thought, you know, it was just some guy there, you know, doing work or something. But that's why I told him.
3:30 a.m. the following morning, a grieving father and son have just managed to finally nod off when the silence of the night is broken by someone pounding at the door.
And I had just fallen asleep, and of course, the stressful day that we had.
You had just lost your fiancée and
absolutely,
your unborn
I don't
child.
even know how I fell asleep. Jordan was laying in my arm, bawling, and that's how we fell asleep. And we were woke up shortly after.
It's the police. They have a warrant to arrest 11-year-old Jordan Brown.
All I remember was they came and got me at 3 in the morning. They put me in the back of the car, and they took me to the police barracks, and I was in there, and then they took me straight to the county jail, and I had no idea where I was going. I wasn't with anybody, it was just a bunch of strangers.
I was mind blown.